It's 8:20 in the morning on Monday, November 27th, I think. I just checked it, I can't remember. So right now it's about 30, 32 degrees. It's you can see there's frost on the ground. It's gonna get up nice and warm today though. Tomorrow will be 60, Wednesday 62, and Thursday we're supposed to get 1.5 inches of rain. There's like a 90% chance of rain. So a couple of notes here. One commentator said that the command I should be giving Nutmeg when she jumps on people is not down but off. Down is supposed to be when they lay down on the ground. And I did train them to lay down. Let's see if we can do it right now. Nutmeg, down, down, down. That's a good dog. So she knows how to get down. And I trained her for a long time, giving her treats and stuff. But she's able to do it more or less. She's not very good at it. If she's distracted, then she'll rather do the thing than do down. So she's not trained very well. The second thing that the guy mentioned is that, yeah, they're not supposed to be crossing the wire. I have to set that wire up so they don't cross it. I was going to get to that in a minute. Okay, so the second thing is that she might be trying to wean the puppies. And that's why she wants to get out so bad. She wants to get away from the puppies and out and about. And I can't blame her. So we're almost at the 8-week point. They were born on October 6th. So, yeah. There's a little bit of ice that froze. Nothing big. The hoses are probably fine. So, yeah, so I need to set up the wire so they learn not to cross the wire. This is what the wire's for. I want them to get used to it. If I don't show this on YouTube for obvious reasons, but with the puppy's first experience with electric fence, obviously they get shocked, and obviously they whine, and they complain, and I've been shocked lots of times by this fence. Sometimes it hurt in the way that, like, a shock would hurt you. It just makes your muscles sore. Most of the time it does nothing. It just tickles or it stings a little bit, But the point is that it's not fun watching puppies get shocked. But I think the puppies have pretty much figured out the fence means business. I need to set up the fence properly so they get zapped when they try to cross it. But also I need to train the sheep on the fence. And so they need experience around the fence. And the way that I was told to do it was you first take an area, you put the fence across the area, and you leave it there for a while. And eventually they figure out the fence will zap you and they stay away from the fence, right? The next thing you do is you feed them with the food on the other side of the fence. And so the animal will try to cross the fence to get to the food and get zapped each time. And you keep like feeding them on the other side of the fence until they stop crossing the fence, when they say they'd rather not get zapped than get food. So at that point, they're pretty much not going to cross the wire anymore, unless it's like dire circumstances, right? Then the next step is you put an opening in the fence and you teach them that it's okay to go around the fence. Like here, like this fence just ends here in the middle. I need to do this fence better. And the sheep, they'll be on one side and then on the other. And so they know that they can go around the fence. And the guy that came up with this training method, I forget his name, but he explained it, Greg Judy. He says he can train anything that doesn't fly, So turkeys, he can train rabbits, all animals. As long as they get shocked when they touch that fence, they're going to learn to stay away from it. And that's what you want. This fence isn't here to physically prevent the animals from crossing a line. It's to deter them, right? And with sheep, Greg Judy's philosophy about the sheep moving and using like wire, he only uses one wire for his sheep because they're so well trained. But his philosophy is that if you provide enough food for the sheep, they won't want to cross the wire, and they'll see the wire and they'll just avoid it. And so you can keep your sheep contained as long as you give them plenty of feed, plenty of grass to eat. And what was the other thing that I wanted to cover? So training nutmeg, weaning nutmeg, and I think I caught all the subjects I wanted to cover from commentators. So hopefully that answers some questions. But my goal, again, is not to raise dogs to pet and look at and play with. My goal is to raise dogs to keep the sheep alive from the predators that are out there. And the number one thing they need to do is they need to bark when something's stirring out in the darkness. And the number two thing they need to do is go hunting and let those animals out there know that bark is backed by a bite. And so the breed of dog that I wanted was the Great Pyrenees mixed in with other things. But the Great Pyrenees are a big dog, and they can be a vicious dog. They will kill animals. They can kill sheep, So the way that we get these sheepdog to protect the sheep is we bond them with the sheep rather than with humans, right? So if the fence were down, would the dogs follow the sheep or would they follow me? That's what we need to know, And if they bond with the sheep and the sheep bond with the dogs and they stay together, then they can, the sheep can be protected by the dogs and the dogs can protect the sheep. And I'm hoping that the last little bit of this puzzle is that when the dogs are in their roughly teenage years, they're really rambunctious. They really like to wrestle. Like you can see already, even in this infant stage when they're still babies, they love to wrestle, growl, bite. They love to tackle each other. They love to, go for the kill. Obviously, they're not going to kill any dogs in this state. Their teeth aren't long enough. But they love to play fight, This is what they're all about. And when they get bigger, they're going to grow up and they're going to be almost full size. They're going to keep doing it. And if they bond with the sheep, there's a chance they'll start playing with the sheep. And the sheep can't take that roughhousing. The sheep don't play like the dogs do. They can only headbutt. That's pretty much their only defense. And if the puppies get a hold of a sheep and play with it too much, the sheep's going to die from a heart attack. So that's the only thing we need to train the dogs not to do is don't wrestle the sheep. So that dog's got some scraps from a steak we had last night. So yeah, and that's the purpose of the dogs. The dogs aren't supposed to be inside a house. They're not supposed to be comfortable. They're not supposed to be pampered. They're supposed to live out here in nature. They're supposed to protect the sheep from wild animals. And they're going to do what fences can't do. So they're vitally necessary. If I didn't have dogs protecting the sheep, I couldn't have sheep. The sheep would just die. A predator would come in one night and kill half the sheep, and then the next night they'd kill the rest. So my grandpa in Wyoming, he raised sheep from his youth, and they would stick people out there in the freezing cold, and so he learned how to survive in the freezing cold watching the sheep and keeping them safe from wolves and things like that. Back in the 30s and 40s, they had wolves up there in the mountains. And it's funny because the wolves were basically hunted almost to extinction. Because, for obvious reasons. They're eating the sheep, They're attacking the cows, they're attacking the livestock. And, of course, the nature conservationists, they're like, well, we want to bring the wolves back. And so the agreement they settled on with the people living up there is that as long as the wolves stay off their property, the wolf will be safe. But once the wolf steps on property, then it's gone. And if the wolves attack a sheep and kill it, they're going to go hunt the wolf down and kill it. So, because they just can't have the wolves learn to hunt sheep, And we don't have wolves in this area. We have coyotes. We have deer. We have raccoons and all kinds of things. But the coyotes especially are the ones that we're worried about. They will hunt and kill sheep. So we got to protect them. This is how we do it. All right, guys, have a great day. Take care and bye-bye.